Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Degat, and on today's tutorial, we're going to be doing a CS Combinator Selector video. So, CSS Combinator Selector basically means it defines the relationship between two selectors. Now, we move on to the first type of Combinator Selector. We have the Descendant Combinator, and this combinator it uses a free space between two selectors, and it signifies an element being under a main element. So basically, as we have here, we have the div element and a space between it before we have another element called the list element. So what it's trying to is that the main element is the div element and the sub element is the list element. So when we target this in our CSS, we are going to have a red color appearing as a result. As you can see here, I've rendered it and here's the result. So that's how we use the Descendant Combinator Selector. So let's move on to the next combinator type, which is called the child combinator. Here, the child combinator uses the greater than sign between two selectors. So we have the div element here and the greater than sign with the p element. So basically, what the child selector signifies is that it targets an element which is a direct child, the main element. It will be targeted and styled. So as you have here, you can see that the p element under the div element here is the direct child of the div element. So when I render this right now, you're going to see that the first p paragraph has been styled with color red. So basically, that's how we use the child combinator selector. So onto our next combinator type, we have the adjacent sibling combinator. So here, this combinator type uses the plus to symbolize each usage between two selectors. So here you can see that we have h1 plus p element. When you are using this, you are trying to combine this h1 element and the p element over here, the one adjacent. So that means when you style this particular element in your css, you are going to find the adjacent element, which is p element, out because it is an adjacent sibling to h1. As you can see in this example, we have h1 and it has its title, and we have p element to have p1, and we have another p element with p2. So let's try to render this and find out what happens. You can see that since p1 is adjacent to the main element, which is an h1 element, you can see that it is the only p element that has a border solid blue top line. That's how the adjacent sibling selectors operate. So let's move to our last combinator selector. Now here, this combinator selector uses the title sign, which is also known as the wavy sign. So as you can see in this example, you can see that we have h1, the title sign, and p. This combinator targets and styles the elements that are descendants of the main element till the last element. So basically, from p1 to p2 will be styled, because this is how the general combinator selector operates. So let me render this and see the end result. So here displays the end result. You can see the p1 element being displayed with a yellow background color and the p2 with the yellow background color. So basically, these are all the combinator selectors that we have and their uses. So thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, click the subscription button, like, comment, share. See you in my next video.